All right, so I have a test fit done and everything fitted. All these fit in here really nicely. So before I take it apart and do the final assembly, I'm going to very gently trace around each one of these because I want to mask off this panel so when I spray, I don't finish the areas where I'm going to try to glue this grid back onto because glue doesn't stick to finish very well. And I'm going to pre-finish this panel and then assemble it and then finish the rest of the case, or at least put a sealer coat down, mainly because if this panel expands and contracts, if it shrinks after I've installed it and finished it, I might see a line of unfinished wood here around all the edges. So I'm gonna gently trace this out, get it masked off, and a finish sprayed on it. All right. Let's move on all the way around the case. All right, you might not be able to see my pencil line there, but basically I'm just taking some blue tape and I cut off about 1/4 inch to make sure it'll fit between my pencil lines. And I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch between the tape and the pencil line so some finish will flow behind the wood itself. This will still give me plenty of glue surface as I go. All right, and then after I get my little edges taped in, then I'll tape off the rest of the field later. All right, we're ready to start assembling the main case. And so I have my panels pre-finished, so in case they expand and contract, I won't have any raw wood showing. It'll all still be finished, and this is just a sealer coat. I'll spray a final coat over the top of it later. Let's get this tape off and get this main case glued up. All right, so I have my joinery marked on the top to which tenon goes to which mortise, and also the top and bottom, so that way I don't get that messed up in the pre-assembly stage. Going the wrong way. Just kind of eyeballing it to center for now, and then as we work, we'll get it exactly dead center. All right, so these pieces of copper, just to make sure that I have room to slide my actual pieces in, that panel doesn't get glued in there all crooked. All right, before the glue sets, in case I need to do any adjustment, I'm making sure this guy fits in here and fits fairly tight. I don't want it to be loose, so I might need to pull up this bottom just a bit. Because I'm not ready to put this structure in just yet, I am just going to clamp it along here because I just want to make sure the outer shell dries square. All right, so I have the case laying on its back so that way I can start working on this framework to support the drawers. There is a little bit of a gap here because of this panel is recessed and the leg protrudes a little bit past the frame of the original case. So I'm going to rip down some stock and mill it down to fill this space here so that way I can attach and glue directly to the side panel and this front panel, and that should make this whole case really rigid with these web frames glued in place. All right, so I got my filler strips milled down to thickness, and I sanded off the glue sanded off the finish where the glue is going to go. And I'm just got glue on one side, slide it into position. Of course, the air hose is wrapped around the camera. All right, then I'm just going to throw a few brads in here to tack it in place to hold it while the glue dries, just like Norm used to do. All right, and then I'll measure and mark for the center drawer, and then I'll sand a strip there and do the same thing. And then these dividers will go in here just like this. All right, so these two guys are the side panels where your legs are going to go, and this thicker piece right here is what we're going to attach the upper drawer center pencil drawer to. So let's get these pre-assembled. I've already pre-finished the inner panel with a sealer coat, and then we'll catch the rest of it up as we go here. I don't want to glue my panel in place. I want it to be able to float and expand and contract. So I'm just marking the glue line here so I know I'm going to apply glue on this much, but not down here. All right, there we go. All right, so for these side panels to add a little bit of rigidity and strength and to tie it into the main case, I am going to set these guys into a dado. So to get them lined up, I have my frames clamped in there as a spacer temporarily. Push this up tight against it. Some double stick tape down. And then we'll just press this up here nice and tight. All right, now I'll do the same thing on the other side. Remove my spacers. All right, I'm going to put some double stick tape down here and press this guy in there to create the other side of this. All right, so I'm just going to use a rabbiting bit with a collar on it to follow the edge of the plywood. All right, so for some additional rigidity, I want to attach these guys to the frame with some dominoes. This is one of those things where I didn't think the order of operations through very well, so to try to plunge this and hold it square and all that is going to be a little bit difficult. So basically I took up some scrap wood. I'll just double stick tape this to this piece, and that should give me a little bit more stability to help hold this in position while I plunge. So that's the plan for this. All right, well that worked out really well. It was just enough to give me a little bit of balance with the tool and help keep it aligned. So yeah, that was a pretty good deal. Crisis averted. All right, so this first row of copper and down this edge needs to slide up underneath this rail a little ways. So I'm just going to start out to mark that in because I'm going to have to glue these in separate. And then I'll tape the rest of the pieces to the back of this and then glue the whole thing in all at once. But this first row is going to be a little bit more time consuming just because I don't want a raw edge of copper hanging out for any problems to happen. And then the copper insets into these little grooves, so I need to mark off this little dado. That way I can line it all up on here as perfect as I can get it. So it looks like those guys are 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to use my 1/4 inch spacer to mark that out. So I'm marking on the wrong side of the line. All right, so hopefully I'll be able to see this pencil line through the glue. It's pretty translucent, so hopefully that'll work. If not, we'll move on to plan B, which I haven't devised yet. Worry about that when I get there, I guess. All right, and then so I don't get glue on the areas that I pre-finished, we're gonna tape that off. All right, the adhesive I'm using is a 3M neoprene contact adhesive. It's designed to stick metal to wood or metal to metal and not react with the metal. So it's some pretty strong stuff. The neoprene adhesive is incredibly strong, but I did just throw a couple of headless pins in a few strategic places just for a little extra insurance. All right, thanks for watching. Next week, we're going to tackle the drawers, and we're going to build a custom integrated wood drawer pull for the drawers, as well as do some copper inlay on that too. So it should be a pretty good video next week. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like the button, smash the bell, whatever. Thanks.